Hey guys, welcome to another New World video. In today's video, I'll be looking at the best ways to increase your expertise. Recently, I've had a few people ask me about how they should go about maximizing their time while increasing their expertise in New World. So I thought I would make this video to try to help. I will say to begin that a lot of people lately are telling people to simply focus on Lazarus or Genesis and ignore everything else. And although this very well may potentially be the fastest way to maximize your expertise, it certainly is not the best. The reason I say that is simple, and it is at its heart why people get fatigued and leave New World in the first place. Spamming one thing over and over and over for days is just boring, and I can't recommend doing things that way to anyone. In my honest opinion, if you want to actually enjoy your time on New World, it is a good idea to mix things up. There are multiple ways to increase your expertise, and it is a good idea to take advantage of all of them. This way you will achieve your goal, which is increasing your expertise and progressing your character, as well as keeping things fresh and fun. So the biggest thing I hear from New World players who hit level 60 now, since the changes to the expertise system is, I want to run expeditions to work on my gear score, but I do not meet the gear check requirements to be effective in Lazarus or Genesis, and I am a mostly solo player, so I get sick of trying and I quit. This is an unfortunate circumstance being caused by the gear squish you receive when you now buy and equip a gear score 600 item from the market. You will still only have an effective usable gear score of about 565 or so, and this can very quickly become disheartening for fresh 60s now. Gone are the days of just buying Void Bent and starting into Lazarus like we did back in October. And although I know this can feel daunting and disheartening, do not quit. You do have a path to upgrading. It is just not as straightforward as it once was. Upon reaching level 60, the first thing I recommend doing is maxing your armoring. Now before you say this is crazy, and you have to make so many gloves, it isn't worth it. I will say armoring is not difficult. It can be done in only a few hours playtime and will probably be one, if not the most useful skill in New World. People tend to shy away because the price and rarity of the trophies, but this is silly. Yes, major armoring trophies are a nice luxury, but they are not a necessity. They only add to the minimum gear score, not to your maximum. While working on your armoring, it is a good idea for you to get as many, if not a full set of the armoring crafting gear. There was a time when this was equally as daunting as the trophies. However, that time has passed, and a couple of pieces remain a bit pricey but not unmanageable to buy. And you will also want to grab an earring. However, this will cost you nothing, as armoring is the only thing that we care about here. You can grab one from the market for like 20 coin. After you have this stuff, what next? Well, now you can make gear, and although this took some effort, you will quickly see for the time and effort you would have been wasting banging your head against the wall trying to get a full set of gear, it was definitely worth it. Now you are in a position to craft yourself gear ranging from 590 to 600. This immediately puts you in a position to craft a full set of armor that makes you competitive in Lazarus and Genesis, making you strong enough to complete your daily gypsum solo with no issues and much faster. Puts you in a position to solo level 66 minor portals to get your amethyst gypsum, and just overall improves your game experience. And the reason this investment is much better than simply buying gear score 600 gear at level 60 is because you crafted it, and self-crafted gear does not suffer the squish effect of expertise, so you will get the full benefit from it. If you even desire, you can now craft yourself a full set of Void Bent, and your effective gear score will now be 580 plus, putting you in an even better position to begin. Although I do not recommend this, or craft Gen or Laz gear, which allows you to control both your stats and a perk. This will always have a better outcome. Now for weapons. I do not recommend using this method because weaponsmithing in the game's current state is not worth the time to level. The weapons you can craft may be good, but not best in slot, so it will never be worth the 500,000 coin to level. If you plan to play bow, spear, hatchet, or any magical weapon, this method for getting started is great as you can level engineering or arcana and make the named artifact weapons, which will be an amazing boost to get you started for a medium investment. But if you plan to use another weapon, there is a great option. You can complete the endgame weapon quests. These will reward you with a 580 weapon depending on which you are wanting. There are quests for every weapon, and as you know, quest rewards are also unaffected by the expertise system, so these weapons will not be affected by the expertise squish either. Whichever you choose, you will be awarded with a weapon that will serve to help you in this path greatly. Now that you have done this, you can now begin your journey on maximizing your expertise, and although you will feel like it will be a long journey when you look at your paper doll, you will learn very quickly that if you do the things I'm about to list, it will take you only a few days, not weeks. So let's get into how you will raise your expertise. To begin, you will have your daily gypsum. Always do this. The bumps are not huge, but they are controlled and focused. so you can increase the slot that you wish. This is always a good idea, especially knowing that your gear score is not weighted evenly. So in order to be effective in mutations, you are going to want to increase your weapons, then your chest, etc., in a certain order. When gypsum was first added, people ran around trying things out, and it could take an hour plus to get them done. This is not the case anymore. To get your obsidian gypsum, topaz gypsum, emerald gypsum, and diamond gypsum will take you less than a half an hour. The emerald is the easiest you can get. That's simply by doing something around life skills, hitting a few ironwood trees, making some infused leather. Really, it's up to you, but it is very fast and will give you no trouble at all, especially if you keep some mats around so that you can quickly bang it off each day, which, if you choose cooking or tanning, is so very easy. Next, the topaz and the obsidian gypsum. You can get off of a couple of bosses in Ebonscale Reach: Serenity Maiden Lou, Skysong Maiden Ping, and of course Ivan, which is where most people choose to farm it. The bonus to farming these right now is that the diamond gypsum from the Christmas tree has been added to the berry bag, which these bosses also drop. So you will complete 3 complete gypsums by farming any one of them. The amethyst gypsum is also easy, however it has become a little more difficult since the introduction of the mutations. You see a lot less groups running portals these days, but if you see someone advertising a 60+ portal run, make sure to join it. Not only will you get your gypsum, you will also get corrupted lodestones and breach caches that could potentially also give you a bump. Another great way to push your expertise if you are a fresh 60 or lower end is by farming a Georgian. I don't know how you pronounce his name properly. A Georgian. He is an angry earth mini-boss located in Eden Grove right here. He is amazing for getting started on your expertise or even for working on your jewelry slots between expedition runs. He is very, very easy to kill, and he is level 62. This means he will drop loot up to gear score 565, which is a great way to get started. He drops loot very often also. Killing this guy is like an expertise power level for a new character to push you to 565 in only a few hours grinding him. It seems that his loot table was unaffected by the nerf, although I wouldn't just sit and grind him non-stop as that gets so boring. However, he is a nice way to pass time while looking for groups or sitting in OPR queues, and that way you are still progressing while waiting. I wouldn't recommend any of the other mini-bosses that we used to farm anymore, however. They nerfed world boss drops, and although this boss seems almost unaffected, the old ones were terribly affected and drops almost nothing now. Next up, you will of course want to run Genesis and Lazarus, or both. Since they changed the drops in expeditions so that you are guaranteed expertise bumps, this is a great way to grind your expertise, and is how you will go about getting some of the best in-slot items at endgame. The only downside to this is that you have no control over what slot gets bumps, and if you have my luck, you will never get spear drops and end up with all of your other weapons at 590 plus except the one you actually want to use for a good while. This is why I always recommend continuing to do your gypsum regardless of how fast Expedition promised to offer bumps. Another nice thing about doing expeditions is that they offer a decent amount of gold and gypsum upon completion, which will help with getting bumps that focus slot once again. There is a lot less worry now about the payment for these runs. They are certainly cheaper than they used to be due to the reduced materials required to make the orbs, as well as having them on the faction market for tokens. So do not hesitate to purchase a spot on these runs, as you will make the gold back that you spent simply by completing the run. Next up is a very, very fast way to get expertise bumps, in my opinion probably the fastest overall. It is the Sirens Arena. This arena is so fast and so easy, and upon completing it you will receive a cache which will also always provide you with expertise bumps. Do not even bother with the other arenas unless you have a solid group. Unlike the Sirens Arena, they are a pain in the ass. It is not that they are very hard per se, they are just aggravating, and if you are in a group of randoms can easily go very, very bad very quickly. The orbs for this arena are ridiculously cheap to make, and you can make 5 of them within the cooldown cycle. So if you have a group of friends all working on getting your expertise up, you can easily run this over and over, making a lot of gold and pushing your expertise up considerably. Running this also gives you your citrine gypsum, because once again you will be set to do a focus bump on your desired gear with your gypsum cast. And finally, Outpost Rush. I know this is a contentious one at the moment, because people are finding themselves sitting in Outpost Rush for hours waiting on queues. But this is less due to player shortages, and more because of the stupid mutations and everyone sitting in town waiting on a potential run to get Umbral Shards. Also, Outpost Rush rewards are uninspiring at the moment, so people are just opting to not bother doing them. This is about to change in a couple of weeks. They have added significantly better rewards to Outpost Rush caches. They have made the perks on the potential items better, and they have also added jewelry to the cache. This, along with the increased chance of expertise bumps, faction tokens, and umbral shards 50 for a loss, 100 for a win being added, Outpost Rush is soon to become a lot more busy. Once it goes live, I believe Outpost Rush will be busy all day, and queues, even on medium pop servers, will be all but instant, because no one is loving the mutations and everyone would much rather spam Outpost Rush all day, getting umbral shards rather than paying through the ass for a spot on mutations for their umbral shards. So get ready, and any Outpost Rush you play now before the patch, do not open your reward cache, save them. Loot is determined upon opening them, not when they are received. So save them till the change so that you will get the most bumps and the better gear being added. Another great way to get expertise bumps fairly quickly is by doing chest runs. Now I know chest runs are probably the least fun anyone could ever have in New World, but the benefit of doing them is worth the time. Not only will you have a chance at an expertise increase, but you will also have a chance at trophy materials and rare furniture schematics, which you will need to be more effective at desired professions. You can always do these solo, which I have posted many guides to do, or in a Zerg. And yes, they still do regularly run, because even people with high expertise run them for the potential jewelry items that tend to come regularly now from elite chests. Okay guys, those in my opinion are the best ways right now to work on your expertise. I know people are going to say that running expeditions is the only viable way, and although I agree it is probably the fastest way, people sometimes need a break from them, or simply want to log in and play solo for an hour, so I wanted to provide newer players with some other options. Okay guys, as always, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.